Good morning all. Currently stood in the field of barley, so I expect you all know what that means. We've just moved the combine up to the first block of barley that's going to be harvested. So this actually isn't the first video I've taken today, but got to do a little introduction. Yeah, we've moved it up here. I'll stick some videos on just after this to show you the move and what we were dealing with, because as you've seen, the combine's quite a big beast, and the track down here isn't the widest, but we're in. So this afternoon this will be coming off. So yeah, that'll be a good start to the proper harvest, really. Obviously we did a little bit last week that was for crimping, but as of today things are a go. And outside of that, we've got whole crop that Will's starting in the next hour or so, so we'll be catching up with them first. So we are now very busy, because following this barley we've got rape to come off at the same farm, and then and we've got some wheat that, as I said yesterday, it looks like the back end of next week it'll be ready. So it's likely all going to start following on from each other now, which is a good thing in a sense, because you're not waiting around for different crops to kind of mature and get fit enough to harvest. But at the same time, it's a lot of work all coming at once. So yeah, thanks for watching yesterday's video, and hopefully this one's enjoyable as well. Combine is out and flying up the road. So this is the view from the farm lane that we're going down. You could say it's a little bit tight for the combine, but currently still moving. So as you can see, we've got a pretty tight squeeze, but at the moment, moving up there okay. Got around that bend okay, so that should be now plain sailing up to the farm entrance. So I'm back in the yard now. I did stop at the neighbouring farm to where we were, is where Will's going to be whole cropping this morning. He's going to start shortly. We're whole cropping wheat at Wheat Haven for Aubrey and Ed Hosegood. And yeah, it's only a mile or two away from where Dad's going to be combining later, so I stopped in just to see if they were going yet. But yeah, he said it's going to be half an hour to an hour before I can really record anything. So came back to the yard, jump in the office and get some stuff done. And yeah, thankfully Will and Dad, they're both going to be out harvesting today, and it's only 2-3 miles up the road, so it's ideal for me being able to crack on and carry on doing bits and bobs in the office, and then I can head out and show you what they're up to very easily. And outside of that, Ant's just backed the fast track up to the tanker. Looks like he's going to hitch up the Pichon and tank some digestate onto the grass fields that were picked up last night. I will just give you a quick look at the fast track, because obviously me explaining what Ant's doing isn't all that interesting. This will probably be the first and only time you see the fast track in this video, as unfortunately harvesting's probably going to be more interesting to record. Sorry, Ant. So we're out in the wheat field with Will now, whole cropping. This is the first field of the day. Looks like it's coming off nicely. They've said it's a good crop of wheat. I'll have a check shortly on a John Deere Operations Centre and just see what sort of dry matter we're looking at. But it does look pretty much perfect for whole cropping. Got Will Hammond in the 250 next to the Forager. And as always, the younger brother Will is piloting the chopper. And then I believe Andrew is in the 250 on the header trailer, ready for this field to be finished, because there's not a lot left. One more trailer possibly. You see the grass header is here, as Will always will transport the Forager with that header on, because he's got grass to pick up afterwards. So he's got 25 acres of grass silage to pick up for the same farm once the whole crop's sorted. So we saw Ant earlier hitching up the tanker, but he's around the middle of the day he's gonna put the rake on and come and rake up the grass, 25 acres. That gives you a good indication of the wait time between trailers. Two trailers is pretty much keeping up. Just a minute or so to wait for the next trailer to get in the field. See Flynn's on this one, as you can tell by the light flashes. We'll have a couple of drone shots now. First one, you see Will's just loading Flynn's trailer, just doing that last little bit of the headland at the bottom of the field. Just the an awkward bit. It kind of takes off about half a header's width just to finish off that part of the field. You can see it's a little bit sparse down the bottom, and then we get back into the main crop of the field, which, like I say, the guys are saying it's a nice crop of wheat here. So they make their way towards us down the field. You can see there's not a lot of the field left. I've caught them just as they're on the last trailer. We'll finish off this run and then get a bit of a view from the spout, just so we can see that trailer being filled, although it does require a little bit of drone management that might be slightly above my skill set, but I'll see what I can do. So here I get as close as I can without losing concentration and crashing. Just watching that crop get blown into the trailer. This is the last little run up the field. I'm sure I'll be able to get my drone and set it a distance so it can follow, but I'd need to look at the instructions to be able to do that, which I'm yet to have done. So that's the last strip of the field. And from here, obviously, that header's got to come off. So we'll speed the video. Get that Forager around to the header trailer. Then it's a case of disconnecting a few clips and then the plugs, which Andrew's doing there. Making sure that the machine is no longer attached, and then Will can drop it off on the trailer back away and move on to the next field. As I'll just kind of move the drone around so you can see that happen. And happy days. So Andrew is off to the next field with the header. Flynn's following on. Obviously his trailer's only part full, but I expect he'll take that back to the farm with the time taking to change fields and change the header. It's worth him tipping that and coming back, because Will Hammond will be ready at the next field. Will's just sorting the grass header, the front of the forager, fixing that, and then he'll be off to the next one. So Flynn's just tipped up that part load he had, as they're still negotiating getting into that next field. Then we've got Tony on the buck rake. You can see it's a lovely silage clamp here. Roof over the top. And obviously not too much has been harvested yet, so it's just making his base at the far end, rolling that in. And as more and more comes in, obviously up she'll go. And then we've obviously got the grass to harvest after this, same farm, so I'm not sure if that's going the other side of this, as this is split in half. I think it's going the other side. Just watch Tony push a little bit away. So, not the sight we thought we were going to see. Will picked up something in the field. He's knocked a few knives back, and he's caught a few knives. We just brought it back to the workshop because we're not very far away, and got that all checked over, changed some knives over, and it looks like we've avoided anything too major, and we'll be good to go again. We're just going to check over everything in the machine, just to put our minds at rest that there's not anything that's going to happen, especially for those of you that are aware the issues we had last maize harvest. We want to make sure we're belt and braces on it, and it's going to be all good to go. So it might be that we finish that whole crop in the morning, most likely now, but we will be back to it and get it sorted. So whole crop has been put off until the morning. I'm now back up in that barley field from earlier, and Dad is on the second of the headland rounds harvesting this crop. So I'll while he's a bit of a way away from me, I'll get the drone up in the air, and obviously when he's a bit closer, do some recording where you can hear the sound of the machine going. But yeah, the combine is out. The tram lines are still a little bit green in here, but aside from that, it's looking okay. And yeah, I think Dad was itching to get going, and he's going to be a happy man now. And having looked at some of the rake fields, I think they will go right after this barley. So a couple of days of combining ahead of us. Let's get the drone up and get you watching what you actually want to watch rather than listening to me. So we've got a few minutes of combine footage here. I'll do a mixture of me commentating and then a bit of music over the top, because there's no way I'm going to be able to fill all this space with my voice. So what we're in is, as I mentioned, winter barley. lovely conditions for it. And as I said before, the tram lines are probably still a little bit green, but the decision was made between us and the landowner that if we were to wait for them, it would be waiting too long, and it was time to go. So we were happy with that decision and waited this morning just for the the dew to dry off the crop, and started at about 3 o'clock this afternoon, something like that. So just there, you got some decent views from above, from in front and above the combine of the crop being cut, and then the augers pulling it into the centre along the belts on the header. Decent view of the grain bin on top of the combine as well. You see that one filling up quite nicely as Dad makes his way around the field. And that's central auger pulling the grain up from inside the machine. And from here, I just drop down below the back of the combine, and you see the straw coming out the back. We did comment that got a decent crop of straw, and nice quality straw coming out the back of this barley crop, which is good. So at this point, Dad was leaving us all guessing as to when the spout was going to come out, because Harry had been following him for quarter of the way, half the way around the field, expecting it to come out at any point. I was fully expecting it, but I think he just wanted to check he could run the combine to full capacity there. You can see the mound of barley grain. But just at this point, I think he stops, and then we get the first tip into the Joskin before Harry takes it across a couple fields to the grain store on farm. So here we are just now. The spout comes out. Harry driving his 8R370 Joskin Drakkar trailer. So we're using this trailer as we can back into the grain store that's on farm, and with the tailgate that pulls that crop from the front out the back, we don't have to tip the trailer as it's a low grain store. We're also Andrew also went and picked up the small grain trailer from the farm, just so that he could fill in when needs be, if there was an extra tip needed and Harry wasn't back in the field. So I'll give you a few different angles of the combine unloading the grain. So Will wanted me to try and be a bit artistic and zoom away, showing the view in the distance and then zoom back in. So ever the showman, I thought I'd try and give YouTube a bit of cinematography, if you can call it that. But it does give a good idea of where we are in the world. Nice view of the moor in the background. And obviously a nice view of the first proper tip of barley harvest this year. And you see Dad just about starts going again. So they're loading on the go just for the last little bit. It's that's the last of that first tip. You can see it's finishing there. So Harry will pull back away, get off the row of straw. The spout will come back in to the side of the combine, and they'll crack on again. And I will... There we are. I just pan around the combine just as the spout's moving in, and he heads on around for the next run around the field. So we're in the next field now. I've been back at the yard for the last few hours. Had a meeting about potential piece of new machinery. Dad's still up here in the barley. I've just passed Andrew on the lane on the way in, taking some grain over to the grain store. And this should be a better clip for those of you that like to listen to the machine. And I know that Flynn's on his way up as well. He's going to get his drone up and take a few videos. So at some point this week there'll be a TikTok and a YouTube short that will go up, most likely. I leave that kind of stuff to Flynn. Very creative soul with the old TikTok. I think the company TikTok is at Steve Lee Agri, or at steve.lee.agri, for those of you that have it. And yes, I did just get absolutely covered in dust, and I'll probably be sneezing all night. The things I do for you lot. Here he is. So I'll call it a day there for today's video. It's been a busy day, obviously. A little bit of a concern this morning, but thankfully nothing too major with the Forager, thank God. Changed a couple of blades. Yeah, we made sure we checked everything we could, because obviously it is a bit of a worry when something happens and you're not entirely sure why. And yeah, Will said none of the stone detectors went off, all the metal detectors, so it was a little bit of a worry. But gone through it all, checked it all, and it seems like everything's in order, so we'll be back on that in the morning. Dad's obviously been combining this afternoon. It's all coming off nicely, going well. Yeah, decent yield of grain, massive rows of straw as well, so that looks good. Yeah, and tomorrow will be more of the same. So thank you very much for watching. Yeah, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff if you're enjoying the videos. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. Cheers.